Coming up next, Blox News on Roblox TV. Good morning and welcome back to Blox News. We will watch a fragment of the Roblox Tech Talks, episode 24.
Hey, I'm Dave Baszucki, CEO and founder of Roblox, and today you're listening to Tech Talks. I'm here today with Kiran Bhatt and Nishchai Khanna, and we're talking everything AI at Roblox. We're going to go through a history of AI. We're going to talk about the systems that we've been running starting in safety over the last 4 years, and then we're going to be jumping to the future of AI, generative AI, creating 3D objects based on just whatever you could imagine and where it's going at Roblox. Thanks for joining us. Welcome, Kiran. Welcome, Nishchai.
Thanks for having us, Dave.
Thank you.
Okay, so, I was doing a little mental calibration recently of sci-fi, and I used to read a lot of sci-fi when I was a kid. The Dick Tracy watch has come true. The interweb, running around, not using a credit card, has come true. The holodeck, in a little bit of a way, Roblox starting to get there, right? 3D, faster than light travel, not so sure. We'll see if that ever happens. But then robots and AI, HAL Computer, 2001, movie was built in 1969. Like, we're getting pretty close, aren't we?
We are.
Like the red dot that you talk to?
That's right.
Okay.
All the natural language, speech understanding, taking that to an actual brain and then producing outputs that make sense.
Yeah, so we saw that movie. We saw chess with Deep Blue, the first time chess ever beat a human.
Correct.
Would you call that AI or early ML? How would you all think of that?
That would be even early search-driven systems.
So we're not going to give that an AI?
Not quite there yet. Yeah.
Okay.
Very early. I mean, I think maybe we should call it the traditional AI, the classic AI approaches.
Okay. Then there was a time when IBM Watson beat some humans at Jeopardy. That seems like a fairly long time ago. AI or not AI?
Getting towards there. Yeah. Building on top of classical AI.
We would probably call that classical AI.
Classical AI. Okay.
Maybe the state of the art of classic AI.
Fast forward behind the scenes at Roblox. I don't know if many people know it, but even 3 or 4 years ago, probably 8 years ago, everything in trust and safety was predominantly human. We had to review every image, every sound, every moderation action. And I know we started talking about using this thing called BERT. ML or AI? What would you say?
I think that category is the early days of the modern AI, transformers based. So I think that's the big jump from the rule-based systems to neural network-based AI, and transformers came to prominence with BERT.
Okay, so behind the scenes, we're using that. You both work on a lot of deep technical platform, and then your company that came on board with Roblox to help track faces and transmit that in animation, Lumi, right?
Yeah, that's right.
AI or not AI?
I think I would call that ML.
Okay.
Yeah, it's computer vision, neural network based, CNNs, very small models that run on your device. So it's the previous generation of custom models that work really well on a given problem, and it's very fine-tuned for that problem, but nothing beyond that, right?
Okay. And so fast forward now, the world's changing so rapidly. One of the reasons we were talking earlier that this is such a special episode, everyone out there, we are living in the middle of the sci-fi book, right? Like 2 to 3 years ago, no one knew what Chat GPT was. Today, we're all debating whether to search for links or search for answers. Do you all feel we're living in the like, is this the most radical time of change ever?
100%. The world's changing every week sometimes, with a new model being dropped, a new technique being invented, or things running more efficiently. It's a great time to be alive.
Yeah, and I think the other thing is the pace of innovation and the energy that's put into AI has also seen a dramatic change since ChatGPT. And so you see big new drops from all different players, open source, big companies, which move the needle forward in how we understand the space, and the capabilities that come almost at a weekly, monthly cadence is inspiring.
Do you think that's also healthy in a way? Because you remember a year or two when we could all have a command line, we could have a Chat GPT command line, and everyone was blown away. When you talk about a drop now, what I interpret that is, let's go through it, right? Grok, Google, Gemini, DeepSeek, Microsoft, Mistral, ChatGPT, OpenAI. What I interpret these drops as is starting to show that many different companies can build this technology. And when you say it's a week apart, it feels to me like many companies are pushing at this at the same time. Is that a fair way to think of that?
That's an incredibly fair way to capture that idea. It's like a lot of people trying to work on the space and building on top of each other's ideas. The incredible thing about this wave has been the sharing of ideas, open sharing of ideas, open sharing of code, weights. So people can build on top of other intuitions that are the best intuitions that are out there. Because going back to one of your previous points about ML versus AI, the big difference now with these larger models is how general purpose they've become. Yeah. And with these general purpose models, you want a lot of people to be working on different facets of the problem and unlocking pieces of the puzzle, which helps the community at large.
And I think it's healthy competition. If there was one player, we would not see so much innovation. The fact that there's so many is pushing each other to improve on benchmarks, get to reasoning quicker, get to creation quicker.
There's maybe some notion that because a lot of this is in software and a lot of it is in computer science, what we got used to, and maybe between 1915 and 1940 in the automotive industry, which happened arguably over 40 or 50 years, you think about the V8 engines, seat belts, better materials for tires, automatic ignition timing, carburetor, all of that stuff. We're kind of seeing a compression of that. And, rather than these innovations happening yearly, it sounds like literally seeing them weekly or bi-weekly.
Yeah, I think this is the artificial intelligence revolution.
A couple thoughts. One, just a random thing, because we're gonna be jumping to the future, but I don't want to forget about HAL in 2001. Do you think there's, sometimes people talk about AI having hallucinations, and I know those are getting less frequent as we build better models. Could you share, if either of you knows whether we think those are going away? It's a fun topic. And then did the people who wrote 2001 actually know about hallucinations? Because HAL arguably got stuck in a moral, ethical dilemma and had some hallucination problems of its own.
So I think hallucinations are going down. They're not done yet. We've gotten better at catching hallucinations, is what we're seeing.
Yeah.
So when we catch a hallucination, we can have a large model recreate what it did and sort of steer the conversation.
Yeah, and you can think of these modern models as a combination of two modes. One is the LLM itself, which still has some tendency for hallucination, because fundamentally it's a next token prediction system. So even though you align it well, it still has that potential problem. But then if you wrap it with another layer, like a reasoning agent, suddenly, you are able to pick up these problems much quicker and self-correct. And it's this self-correction nature of these systems that you're seeing with the reasoning engines that has truly been impressive.
When you say self-correction agent, is that the same as like my conscious as a little person sitting on my shoulder watching what I'm doing, kind of?
It's in the deep learning, in the AI parlance, it's like, you're looking at different, you're producing multiple tokens, and you have to pick what's the next set of tokens. And if you can think of having a system that generates the tokens and a system that can evaluate it, in some sense, if the evaluator is really good at saying, hey, that answer, not that great, don't go down that path, pick this other one. Yeah. So in a way, it's like your consciousness, but I think a little easier to put together.
I would say more like your parent.
Okay. So
Telling you, no.
disconnected. These systems have an air gap or something.
That's one implementation of it. One is a conscious, and one's like someone telling you, like, hey, this is wrong, redo it.
Right, because if it's your own conscience, maybe your own conscience still needs like the parent on top of that, right? Okay, cool. So we mentioned Roblox safety, and over the years we developed so many models: image, text, voice, handling moderation, and that's sitting there working in the background. And then in the last year or two, in addition to all these background systems that are doing all this hard work, now we've been exposed to generative systems. And I think we were all first exposed to text generation. We've seen that start to move to image generation, seen it start to move to music generation, sound impersonation generation, now video generation. And then what we're going to be talking about is 3D generation, and then ultimately interactive 3D generation. Is each of those steps harder, as we go down that road, as we think about it? Because it seems like text generation is getting more mature, but we're not all using Google Photos or Apple Photos to generate videos right now. So I'm wondering if as we go up that, it gets more difficult.
It's less about difficulty. I would say it's more about the maturity of the space and the number of people working on it and the data sets that are available to be able to train these large generative models. And in the sequence that you painted, from text to image to audio to 3D, I think the amount of data that you have to train these systems progressively goes down. So to build a foundation model that can actually produce 3D is substantially harder, because now you can't just rely on 3D data alone. You have to somehow plug it into another model that is trained on a different medium modality, right? Yeah. So that therein lies part of the challenge. But I would also say that the maturity of text NLP as a field that has delivered a lot of analysis tools to the community is also very helpful, because the transformer architecture came out of analysis, for classification of text, and also for transforming from one language to the other, right? So it's that modality where you have to analyze a sentence for some summarization or a classification task, and once that became mature, suddenly people tried, hey, what if we just do generation with it? Yeah. And so that, to some extent, that field has existed for a while, and some of the newer fields like 3D are just starting to build.
So you mentioned training data. So behind the scenes, when we think of all of these popular models, and I think of all the data, I think of, okay, what is all the text out there? There's every book that's ever been written. There's every scientific journal that's ever been written. There's all the web pages in the world. These are a lot of places where there's text. Is literally a lot of this data being used to train now? Like, are people being able to gather all that data?
Yeah, some of it is licensed, some of it is sort of open. But there's literature that has been digitized specifically so that models can be trained. This is also when you're doing task-specific stuff to help a doctor and things like that. So a lot of sort of this is human curated data that will help the LLM in a particular task that it's not doing well.
Got it. So that leads to, we're familiar with petabytes of text out there, video, maybe images, quite a few, videos, not as much, but then interactive 3D data.
It's time for a short ad break.
Taste Lay's flavors from around the world. The refreshing, creamy Lay's tzatziki flavor from Greece. The delicious blend of spices in Lay's masala flavor from India. And the sweet, smooth Lay's honey butter flavor from South Korea. Buy a bag, and you could win a vacation.
Hey, grab me one too.
Oof, stuck paying for that old phone? Don't be. You know, at Verizon, we'll pay off your phone, and you'll get iPhone 16 with Apple Intelligence on us. Now with Genmoji. That's a value of up to $1,600. Only on Verizon.
Believe our love's terminal. I'm down on my knees, begging you please come.
What are y'all doing?
We're showing all our love to Black founded brands.
So what makes you feel this is love?
The way I love these cookies, I'd fight for them.
The way this carrot's fit got us feeling fresh.
Ooh.
And how this lip bar shade helps my glow up.
But I think we know a thing or two about spreading the love.
Show us how you spread the love for Black founded brands.
That was the ad break. Hello and welcome to Sport. It's just the beginning. Victoria Azarenka hails life-changing first maternity fund for professional tennis players. Two-time Grand Slam champion Victoria Azarenka has told CNN Sport that a landmark maternity fund created for professional women's tennis players is a game-changing moment for the sport. The first-of-its-kind initiative provides eligible WTA players with the financial support and comprehensive resources to start or expand their families, according to the tennis body. Fully funded by the Saudi Arabia's Public Investment Fund, PIF, players will receive paid maternity and parental support for the first time, as well as grants for egg and embryo freezing and IVF treatment. It's a very global conversation, much bigger than just sport, says Azarenka, a WTA Players' Council representative who has been at the forefront of the discussion. It's such an important topic in all walks of life. People have families, and I think that it's a very important conversation to continue to bring to the table. Shaun White was a record-breaking snowboarder. Now he's started a new competition to unify a disjointed sport. When it comes to knowing a thing or two about snowboarding, there's nobody better than Shaun White. White is arguably the greatest of all time in his field, having won 23 X Games medals, including 15 golds, and holding the record for the most snowboarding Olympic gold medals with 3. Now that he's hung up his board, White has turned his attention to improving the life of the next generation of winter sports athletes. To do so, the snowboarding legend has organised the Snow League, a new format to help athletes showcase their abilities, as well as accumulate qualification points for next year's Winter Olympics in Italy. The inaugural season begins with the opening event Friday in Aspen, which will see the best snowboarders take to the slopes. Free skiing will be introduced to the league's second event later in the year, with all the action being shown on NBC. Between its revolutionary head-to-head format and more unified schedule, White is hoping his new venture can provide a platform for snowboarders to excel, something which he says he picked up from his own career. "This is something that I wish that I had when I was competing in my competitive years," the 38-year-old told CNN Sport. And I just noticed that the entire snowboarding season and winter free ski season was just really disjointed. There was no connecting thread, just like any traditional sport. You can check in and find out how your favourite team's doing, or your favourite tennis players, soccer team, whatever. So we're not reinventing the wheel there, but it's something that the sport desperately needs. And I'm excited to be the one to usher in this new era of winter competition. It's just taking this sport to a new level and showing a professionalism that hasn't been there before. System needs to reinvent itself. Tennis has an anti-doping procedural problem, critics say. For months, the tennis world has simmered with controversy in the wake of 2 doping cases involving top-ranking players. First, men's player Jannik Sinner, and months later, women's player Iga Świątek. And when the World Anti-Doping Agency, WADA, announced on February 15th that Sinner had accepted a 3-month ban to settle his case and avoid it going to the Court of Arbitration for Sport, CAS, it thrust the issue back into the spotlight once again, particularly as the ban length means the Italian player won't miss any Grand Slam tournaments. Sport ends here. Thank you so much for watching us today. You can find more news on our website, sites.google.com/view/Roblox TV net. See you next time. Goodbye. It's time for a short ad break.
Priya
Taste Lay's flavors from around the world. The refreshing, creamy Lay's tzatziki flavor from Greece. The delicious blend of spices in Lay's masala flavor from India. And the sweet, smooth Lay's honey butter flavor from South Korea. Buy a bag, and you could win a vacation.
Hey, grab me one too.
What are y'all doing?
We're showing all our love to Black founded brands.
So what makes you feel this is love?
The way I love these cookies, I'd fight for them.
The way this carrot's fit got us feeling fresh.
And how this lip bar shade helps my glow up.
But I think we know a thing or two about spreading the love.
Show us how you spread the love for Black founded brands.
What are you up to?
Just about to double our network.
Wow.
Double coverage activated. Double coverage activated. Double coverage activated.
Double coverage activated.
Double coverage activated.
Now with double the network coverage, make your move to Vodafone.
Wake up, rested, work out, killing. Wow, the day just clicks.
You know, most people quit their New Year's resolutions by the second Friday in January. It's called Quitter's Day. Look it up. But what if we didn't quit right after starting? Or because it's raining or something? What if we had some extra motivation? This year, what if a little bit of help on our wrists
Goal achieved.
could help us quit quitting?
That was the ad break.
Good morning, and welcome back to weather. The weather in the United States is cloudy. Austin 11 degrees, Boston 6 degrees, Brooklyn 5 degrees, Chicago 5 degrees, Dallas 13 degrees, Honolulu 23 degrees, Houston 15 degrees, Los Angeles 12 degrees, Manhattan 8 degrees, Nashville 10 degrees, New York 8 degrees, Philadelphia 6 degrees, Phoenix 15 degrees, Queens 4 degrees, Raleigh 7 degrees, San Antonio 14 degrees, San Diego 12 degrees, San Jose 9 degrees, the Bronx 5 degrees, Washington 6 degrees. This was all the weather information. If you want more updates, visit our website, sites.google.com/view/RobloxTVNet. Have a nice day. See you tomorrow. Goodbye.